think I have like 6 or 7 things that I swear by when it comes to holistically healing and preventing and supporting your health throughout the cold and flu season, because I know it can be so crazy. And these are just things that work for me. It is good to be back. So maybe you missed me, maybe you didn't. I took the week off with all the things we've been doing. I'm coming at you from the empty apartment that we are actually in the process of moving out of. We basically have everything out for the most part, which is why you hear a slight echo throughout this entire process, except my editor's amazing. Love you, Alex. She's definitely helping make it sound a little bit better for y'all. But there's only so much she can do for this process right now. But I don't have my office set up in our new place, and we have this place for a little bit longer. So I'm taking advantage of it and coming at you with some episodes that are going to bring you exactly what you need at this time of year. So starting off with the sickness. Okay. If you deal with cold and flu, you get sick, you find yourself getting run down, then this is definitely an episode for you. We're going to have a little heart to heart. I'm going to share kind of where I've been, and then I'm going to share, I think I have like 6 or 7 things that I swear by when it comes to holistically healing and preventing and supporting your health throughout the cold and flu season, because I know it can be so crazy. And these are just things that work for me. My husband would, as a medical professional, would want me to say, this is not doctor advice. This is not medical advice. This is just what works for me. You try it, that's great, but obviously always talk to your medical professional first. Okay, why am I sharing this episode today? Well, moving is stressful, life is stressful, and the world is hurting right now, specifically the Middle East. I stand by the side of the oppressed always, and since I was a little kid, I remember coming to my dad and being so sad and telling him, like, I don't feel like I can be happy anymore because there's kids out there in the world that don't have a home, they don't have food. You know, you get taught about like starving kids in Africa. I took a lot of that to heart as a kid, and I really struggled to be happy. I would find myself being happy and then tell myself like, oh, you can't be happy. Other people don't have this. And I still find myself doing this as an adult. And it's really hard because a part of you, you know, you're showing up for people, maybe your mom, maybe you're showing up for people in your career. Maybe you are that like emotional support friend that is helping people through stressful times, a stressful period. And I, as someone who is also a nurturer, I want to help support you. So if you've been feeling that, I want to be here for you. And I want to give you this reminder, like, I think it is so important to stay informed. It is a privilege that I'm able to step away and take breaks when I can, especially from my job. Like, I know a lot of people can't take a sick day because rent won't get paid. And so the fact that I'm able to take a break during this time of moving, like, that's a beautiful privilege. So wherever you're at on the line of privilege, find some gratitude in it, but also don't find guilt in it. That can be hard. I was finding that as I was taking in, you know, the weight of the world, everything going on, I was feeling guilty for not spending every waking hour doom scrolling, essentially looking on the news and looking on other sources, because the news is just throwing everything at you. And it was really hard. And the thing that I found myself doing is I wasn't actually helping anyone that's hurting. I was just hurting myself, almost like being a martyr and punishing myself. And I'm telling you right now, that is not the solution when you are feeling low energy, when you are feeling the weight of the world. It's not going to help you to punish yourself, to put yourself down. Now, we're going to take a more general approach when it comes to cold and flu season, feeling run down. But, you know, if you've been feeling stressed or burnt out, this episode is still going to benefit you. I just wanted to make that little caveat because a lot of times our physical symptoms are a product of some emotional things that are coming up for us too. So if you're feeling that, like, reach out to someone, talk to someone, and know that you don't have to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. And it's okay to take a breath. Okay. It's okay to take a breath and then come right back in and support your people. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some symptoms when it comes to cold and flu season and things that I use that really help me. I'm recording this while currently going through all of this, while currently, like, you know, I've been run down. I've been trying to do a million things at once. We are, oh my gosh, hold on, let me stand up for those on YouTube. 30-ish weeks pregnant. Okay, there's my baby. We're 30-ish weeks pregnant, which is like 7-ish months, which is blowing my mind. And I had a great conversation with my friend yesterday. She was like, oh my gosh, my baby was born early and it was like at 30 whatever weeks. And my heart dropped. I was like, wait a second. I didn't contemplate the idea of a baby coming early. Like, this baby ain't coming early, they're coming late. And it made me freak out. I literally was like, I have nothing ready. We're still got boxes. We're still unpacking. I'm still halfway in this apartment right now. So, but what does my body do? The reaction is forcing me to slow down. So I'm starting to get some cold symptoms, and I'm going to tell you what I've been doing, what I will be doing over the next week or so that you can save this for the next time you are dealing with something. And again, not medical advice, but just what works for me. So one of my symptoms, a sore throat. So if you're dealing with a sore throat, this is just good in general. Like, the colder weather can give you a scratchy throat. If you're like me and you're talking a lot on the phone with your clients, or you are a podcaster, it can be really hard when your throat is super scratchy. Even right now, my throat's scratchy. People love lozenges and things like that, but tea and honey, man, like, that is the staple. That is the original. That is like, my grandma would make me tea and honey whenever I was sick, and absolutely still recommend it. Just drinking more warm liquids like bone broth, tea, instead of just doing cold. Even though cold feels really good on your throat, you can do both, but warm is definitely really helpful. One thing I've learned, and I haven't looked deeper into the research of this, but someone was saying that using a wooden spoon, or like that little like honeycomb to get the honey out of a jar when you're putting it on things, is really important to keep the health benefits of honey. So that's something to think about. You can still stir your tea with a regular spoon, but when you're pulling it from the actual jar, you don't want to put a metal spoon into the jar. So that's something to think about, but I highly recommend honey. I will literally do a spoonful of honey before I will start podcasting. When I have a sore throat, or just in general, it definitely makes a big difference. So if you got a sore throat, grab some tea honey. LOL, grab some tea honey. And cough and cold. Okay, so this is the one that I got freaking trashed on actually a couple things with onions on TikTok. So I made a post about this on TikTok, and I tried it and actually worked. So the cough and cold one, I currently pregnant, like not taking cold medicine in anyways, but I also just don't feel good whenever I take cold medicine. It makes me feel groggy. It makes me feel sick. Like, it's not a good thing. So I have tried what some people have said is fermented onion and honey cough syrup. And so you essentially chop up the onions. For this syrup, make sure I do white onions. So I cut up the white onions. I usually only need like a quarter or a half an onion to make enough for over a week. And I will add straight honey to it. And the better quality honey, the better. I'll put it into a jar, like a mason jar, and I will close it up and keep it in my fridge. And so after about 48 hours, it starts to ferment into an actual syrup. And then keeping it in the fridge for a week, like, you can just take a spoonful of that and add it to your tea, or just take it straight up. And I'm telling you, it helps so much with your cold and cough symptoms. I feel so much better. It releases drainage. I can't explain it. It immediately, I can feel it working, and it's great. If you are looking to make a big batch of this, like for your family, I would just recommend after that, like 4 or 5 day mark, I would drain the actual onions out of the syrup, because you'll have plenty of syrup at that point. And then you can actually keep that fermented syrup that you created, that fun little concoction, for anywhere from 2 to 6 months. Definitely keep an eye on it, but it is game changer with cough and cold. So definitely recommend that one. If you're feeling stuffed up or have a lot of mucus, love talking about all these things. I was a Mucinex girly for a long time. Like, I would take Mucinex all the time when I would get sick in high school, and anytime I was feeling congestion. And I just am trying to find alternatives. I'm trying to find options that aren't necessarily like a medication. I'm not anti-meds, guys. I will still take meds, but I will try this first. And then my last result can be medicine / doctors and stuff. So yeah, I do have someone in the house that can give me some doctor medical advice too. So I kind of get a little loophole there. He makes fun of me for this one. So if you're feeling stuffed up and you have mucus, my husband literally judges me so hard for this, and I love it. I will, and I've learned this again, looking up holistic medicine. When I started my like hot girl healing journey, I got really, really into learning more about holistic medicine. And I've been to a naturopath and those types of doctors. I just think it's so interesting how centuries have gone by where we're using plants to heal us. So now I want to learn more about that. And this one really helped with feeling a ton of like drainage or stuffed up. And it is my onion water that I will put overnight in the fridge and then drink. So I will cut up. For this one, I like the red onions. I've done white onions and red onions. I prefer the red onion. I don't know why. I just feel like it works better. I don't know. Do your research, but chopping that up and putting it in just like some nice filtered water. Again, I put it in a mason jar because I just don't want it like coming out. But soaking it in the water really takes the sting out of the onion anyways, so it doesn't feel too crazy. It'll feel a little like spicy sometimes. But I will drink that. Now, you don't have to drink the whole thing in one sitting. You can sip on it throughout the day. You could add it to your tea, like use that specific onion water to make your tea. You can add honey to it. So it's not like you have to suffer in order to drink it. But I'm telling you, when you start drinking it, you immediately feel the relief of the drainage coming from that like pressure, that sinus pressure in your face. And it is amazing. So don't bash it till you try it. I don't think you'll smell like onions, but I mean, whatever. I work from home. It doesn't matter. But I highly recommend that one. You definitely don't want to let the onion water just sit in for like more than maybe 2 days. This is different than making the syrup. You're not fermenting it in that way. You're just getting the benefits of the onion juice, the onion water that you're creating. You can cook with onions too. There's plenty of ways you can incorporate things into your life. I always think of like the movie Holes. Do you guys remember the movie Holes where they were like digging for like gold or whatever? I don't know. Basically, they found onions and everyone was eating onions. And there was like Magic Sam, who back in the day was like, would make everything and cure everything with the cure-all onions. It's true. Onions really do cure a lot. So that's a really good one for stuff for mucus. Okay, the winter time, I don't know about you, but my skin gets really dry. I have been fortunate with this pregnancy to where my skin has actually been pretty good, but I'm getting some dry skin, like eczema around my hands. So being hydrated is number one. Like, make sure you are hydrating. Look into remineralizing your water. If you can look into like, what are the benefits of adding Celtic sea salt into your water? I like to add lemon. I just like to mix it up because I get bored with my water. And then also coconut water can be really good. Celery juice is a really good way to hydrate in a way that's going to hydrate you even more so than just water alone. So just hydration in general is going to help with your skin. It's going to help with your body and make you feel better. When we're sick, sometimes we're just not drinking as much water. When it's cold, we're not drinking as much water because we're not thinking about it as much. And if you're someone who is a tea person, that can count towards your hydration. Tea is a great way to get more water in your system. I will literally make it like a cold tea and I'll make a big pitcher of it and then drink from there. And I tend to drink it faster because it just tastes good. So don't feel like you have to suffer with just like plain water if that is just not your jam. I'm fine with it in any way. So stay hydrated. And the other thing you can do is look into Vaseline and slugging. If you have not done this before, please look into it first because everyone's skin type is different. But if you are experiencing dry skin at night, I like to go throughout my skin routine. I'm not using certain things because of my pregnancy. So using Vaseline on my face, it's fine. But I'll put that as like the final coat. And literally I look like a slug. I look crazy. And it's called slugging. I'll put it on my face and go to bed. And I just wake up and my skin feels really good. If you're like, I'm not going to put that on my face, another one you can try is like putting your lotion and then Vaseline on your hands and then wearing socks on your hands at night. Again, I look like a crazy person, but it keeps you off your phone at night. And it's a good way to rehydrate your hands. And you can do the same thing with your feet. If you have really dry heels, you can put the Vaseline, you can put whatever kind of lotion is really hardcore that works well for you. And then put socks on over that. I like to put on like some fuzzy socks and that you wake up and your hands and your feet are like velvet. 10 out of 10 recommend. Okay. And then other things that just make you feel good. So during the winter season, it can be hard. Like as the days are getting shorter and the nights are getting longer, it's getting colder, it can be hard to take care of ourselves. Look into cozy cardio. So doing things that are comfy for you, but that are still moving your body. So if like going outside on a walk, which I will go outside no matter what the temperature is, But if you're feeling sick, but you still want to move your body, looking up kind of ways to move your body that still feel good, it just helps kind of get the drainage and gets everything moving. It could be something as simple as stretching. If you have a treadmill in your house, you could set up treadmill and watch Netflix. I'm a big fan of putting on a show while doing some sort of movement or activity because it distracts your brain and you're already going to watch a show anyways today. Why not watch it while you're doing something that feels good for you? That is just depends on where you're at with sickness. I do this if I'm feeling it in my head, like as far as like a cold. If I'm feeling pressure in my head, I will still work out. But if it's going down into my chest, that's when I usually have the call of like, okay, we need to not work out. We need to really just rest. Essential oils is another one that I really like. You don't even have to be sick for this one. This is just something where I think it can help cue our senses. I've talked about this before, and I talk about this in my Body Confident Blueprint course. So if you haven't gotten it yet, definitely go get it because I'm still offering that bundle where you get to work with me one-on-one and you get to get the course. Check the link in the show notes for the Burnout to Breakthrough bundle. But basically, with your eating routine, you can use your senses to cue your body relaxing, your body winding down, or in the opposite, you can energize your body in the morning. So adding essential oils, I don't sell them or anything, but I know people that do. So if you can support your friends that do, that'd be great. But adding essential oils to your shower or your bath, it just makes things feel more luxurious, especially when you're feeling kind of down. Like it's going to make you feel more like spa vibes. Lighting is everything too. So if you can adjust lighting at night, that can be helpful. I love to do like eucalyptus or peppermint oil in my morning shower. I don't recommend putting it like too close to your face because you don't want to get in your eyes, but it does, like that steam will rise up and it just feels really good whenever I have any kind of like congestion, but I also just feel more awake after. So that's a good one. You can literally add fresh eucalyptus and put it over your shower head. Love doing that. I haven't done that lately, but it is something you can do. And then at night, if you're doing a shower, you can do night showers. There's nothing wrong with that. But also a bath, like lavender and sage. I love those. And I love doing Epsom salt baths. Just check the ingredients of your Epsom salt. Basic Epsom salt baths will help relax your body. If you've been feeling like you're cramping, if you've been feeling like your body's been really tense, big fan of baths. And then adding lavender to that, adding candles to that, just going to help your whole body relax and get into that resting state. Okay, sickies, I'm saving the best for last. We are going to talk about the two biggest things that really help you with just either recovering or preventing you getting sick this winter season. Your sleep and your stress. So let's break those two down. That's what we're going to end with today. I'll give you a full recap on everything real quick, and then we'll close out. And let me know if you have any holistic things that you've tried. Let me know which one you do try. Please tag us in your stories, any of these teas, anything we try. But let's talk about sleep quality. Our sleep is crucial for our health, mentally, physically, emotionally. And a lot of times we are pushing the limit on our sleep when it comes to like, how little can I get in order to still function? Where you're procrastinating going to sleep and you're staying up late because you've been on someone else's schedule all day for work and the kids have been, nagging you all day. So you're like, I just want some time for me. And that time can sometimes just be on your phone or up late and you really just need to go to bed. So let's actually cue our bodies to go to bed. So you need to wind down. You need to check how much sleep am I getting and how can I increase that amount if I'm not getting enough. If you are getting enough or it's just not reasonable for you to be able to get more, how can I at least increase the quality of it? So how am I sleeping more soundly? For me, things like melatonin can help. Winding down and cueing my body with lighting. So I don't do any overhead lighting after a certain time. I switch to my blue blocker glasses if I am going to be on screens. I have a time cutoff for when I'm done with screens. However, when I get stressed or when life happens, I tend to break that boundary with myself and I will find myself on my phone scrolling. I was talking about everything going on in the world. I was on my phone a lot more. So I had to audit my sleep and I had to audit my stress. And I'll get to the stress one with that in a sec. So check your screen time and see, like, am I staying up too late on my screens? Swap that screen for a book. And then for sleep quality, adjusting your senses with lighting. So like changing cozy lighting, lighting a candle, whether you're doing a bath or just while you're reading. Obviously make sure you blow it out. Having that cozy lighting. I talked about essential oils. So if you're more of a diffuser galley versus a candle person, that's totally fine. But doing those things, think, how can I cue my different senses that are going to cue, hey, it's time for us to relax. It's time for us to wind down. Let's take a breath and get ready for bed. Giving yourself a bedtime as an adult, 10 out of 10 recommend. And the thing is you may not be able to get off work when you're feeling sick, especially those that work from home now. It's just not as feasible, but you can get to bed earlier and take care of yourself. And if you're like, no, J.Go, I can't, like I have kids, I have this, that, and the other, I get it. But if you keep coming back at me with the excuses of like why you can't show up for yourself, is that really helping? No. So what can you do? So if I'm saying something and it's not resonating with where you're at right now in your life, in your chapter, with your schedule, what can you do from the things that we talked about to help improve yourself, to help take care of you? Stress is a big factor. Stress check. So if you are feeling run down, you need to check in with yourself. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling burnt out, I specialize in you, people. So if that's you, reach out to me if you're really wanting some more support. If it's been going on for a long time coming, I'm here for you. Let's talk. Message me and be like, hey, I'm feeling super stressed and burned out. Can you help me? And I got you. But often our bodies are triggering sickness to cue us to slow down. If this is happening for you, ask yourself with stress, like, is there anything I'm taking on that's like outside of my control that I need to just let go? Then is there anything that I can delegate or take off my plate, at least for now, that's going to help kind of relieve some of that stress? I literally had this conversation with myself and my husband yesterday, just FYI. Can I say no to something this week, today, this weekend, to create space to rest? Maybe like today is just not the day. You have so many things to get done. But like this weekend, maybe you were saying yes to a couple extra things and you need to say no and be like, hey, honestly, I'm a little run down. I'm going to have to say no to this. That can be really hard for my people pleasers out there, but it's worth it. It's going to make you stronger in the long run for multiple reasons. We want to start working on boundaries now before the holidays come. So let's do it. So doing a stress check is going to be really good to keep you from being run down for months. Because some of my clients, when they get sick, we are immediately, focusing on like, okay, how can we slow down? What can we do to take care of ourselves? We're not like, okay, I just need to push through. Because pushing through, again, our body's cueing us to slow down. And when we don't listen to our bodies, it only gets worse, right? And then that like 1 week cold or 3-day cold that we could have just like helped support to work through turns into 3 weeks, 3 months, where we're just like one thing after another. And I see it happen more and more. And so if you can instead take the time to slow down now, it's going to save you in the long run. So just do it. Okay. In conclusion of today's situation, today, everything we're talking through is cold and flu season's coming up. Stressful times can come up when it comes to the holidays. And I want you to take care of yourself. These are things that work really well for me. Obviously, everyone is different. If you haven't tried any of these, let me know if you do. And I would love to hear your feedback. If you have any things that work really well for you, share them. I would love to hear from you. Tag me in any of your holistic solutions and things that just help you take care of you. So trying that like honey and tea, the fermented onion honey cough syrup, I didn't even say cold and flu symptoms, elderberry syrup or sambucol, Sambucol. That is like my go-to. That's like a holistic medicine you can actually get in like a CVS or somewhere, but it's essentially elderberry. And so if you can't get access to fresh elderberry syrup, which you actually can a lot of places now, the Sambucol tablets are awesome. And I use them all the time. Again, talk to your provider, but cold and flu symptoms, anytime, it's typically before you have the cold or flu. It's got to be like if you feel something coming on, it's a very good preventative option for me. I love it. If you're feeling stuffed up, try the onion water. Let me know how it goes. If it helps you feel less congested. If you're dealing with dry skin, let me know if you do slugging at home. I would love to see your go to sleep pictures because listen, my husband did not know what he was getting into when he got married because I look cray-cray. I'll send you guys pictures at some point, but I literally use his robe tie to wrap my hair up. I'm wearing a bonnet. I'm putting all my skincare stuff on. Sometimes I'm doing contour with my tanner. If I'm not doing slugging, I either look like a crazy clown person or I have a super wet looking face from the Vaseline. And yeah, I look crazy. And then to put on top of that, I'll wear like a Jason Halloween style mask that's like my LED light mask. And so he's just looking over me like, what the hell did I just get into? And that's marriage 101. let them know you at your worst so they can love you then as well. Yeah, so make sure you're hydrating, try out the essential oils, try to use your senses to help cue you to wind down, check in with your sleep quality and your sleep hygiene, which is like what you're doing to help have quality sleep, checking with your stress levels and knowing like, hey, I don't have to fix every single problem today. Let's take a breath, do something for me, and then see what I can handle after I've done something for myself. So hope this was helpful for you. I would love for you to, again, share this episode. If you know anyone that's feeling a little sick, a little under the weather, let them know you're thinking of them, send them a nice little note, and share them this episode because I really do think it's beneficial and it helps me. So I hope it helps you too.